The PL259 and SO239 connectors, which are the plug and socket of the UHF connector, were invented in the 30s, back when UHF really meant anything above 30 MHz. Today, UHF really is from 300 MHz to 3 GHz, and the UHF connector really isn't suited for those tasks. It's best suited as an HF connector and a VHF connector. For today's UHF, you really should be using something else. The N connector, the BNC connector, the SMA connector, depending really on your application. For more info on those connectors, please check the other episodes in the series on RF connectors. Despite not being suitable for anything above VHF, the UHF connector is used on most amateur gear these days. Most HF radios come with it, other than some SDRs. And a lot of VHF and UHF gear, especially for accessing repeaters, also comes with it. Despite not being suitable for anything above VHF, the UHF connector has many adapters that can take you to the N connector, the SMA connector, and the BNC connector easily, like the ones shown in this photo. There's also adapters that take you from male to male connector from the UHF series, and also from female to female. The female to female one is particularly useful because you can connect two pieces of coax, which will usually have the male connector on them, and the female connector is usually used on the chassis of equipment. One important difference of the UHF connector to many other connectors is that it isn't watertight. That means that special care must be taken to protect it when it is used outdoors. This can be used with some electrical tape, as I showed earlier this week in my quick tip series. Check out that video for more info on how to properly seal the connector when using it outdoors. The PL259 and the SO239 connectors can handle high power. Here in my shack I use them up to 1.2 kilowatts, but they are rated at much more than that when properly installed. Here is a photo of some common PL259 and SO239 connectors that I have here in my shack. Note that there's a difference between the ones used for crimping and for soldering. The ones for crimping have a ferrule which you crimp with a crimper. The ones for soldering just screw onto the coax and then you solder them. In my shack I have PL259 connectors suitable for RG58, RG8X, and RG213, which is also suitable for LMR400 and RG8 coax. For connectors for higher frequency, please check my videos on the SMA, the N, and the BNC connector. For really high frequency, I recommend the SMA connector. The N connector is also useful when you want to use it outdoors or when you want to run high power. And the BNC connector is particularly helpful for portable operations when you want to quickly connect and disconnect equipment without a lot of fuss. Thanks for joining me in the last episode of my series on RF connectors. Please subscribe to the channel to get notified about other videos if you found this video informative. Thank you. I'm Kilo Golf 2 Charlie, also licensed as LZ1 AMA 73.